Clothing is a form of self-expression, but sometimes it can be a hard pass. Take Kyler Murray, for example. His pre-game fashion choices had the world laughing at his bizarre outfit. Guess the quarterback should have let this one stay in the closet. In today's video, we'll talk about Murray's lime green suit and some of the worst uniforms worn by players in league history. So stay tuned. First up, let's look at the outfit Murray wore. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray had everyone laughing at him when he arrived at State Farm Stadium in his awful pre-game outfit. He showed up to the pre-game wearing a suit. Doesn't sound bad, right? Well, a suit is always a good choice, until it's a bright lime green suit with a weird fit. Some people might be able to pull off that color and style, but Murray couldn't. Not to mention, it was just not the right time or occasion to wear such an outfit. He became a laughingstock for the world while taking on Philadelphia Eagles, all because of his god-awful clothing choices. There were barely any accessories with the outfit, too. One silver necklace that was peeking from behind the blazer, and that's all. But to be honest, no amount of accessories could have saved that god-awful outfit. Even the people at the event, fellow players and audience, thought it was an odd outfit. But most of the drama went down on Instagram and Twitter. People thought he looked like a walking human-sized bottle of soda. 7-Up, anyone? To make it worse, the suit had flared pants, contrasting his black shoes. We admit that flared pants are making a good comeback, but it's all about the vibe, and Murray certainly didn't capture that. The choice to wear a suit could have worked, only if it were a different color or for a different event. Honestly, it's his stylist that is to blame. The man probably wore what he was advised to wear by his stylist, but if this was his own choice, God, does he need a stylist real bad. Next up, here's what people thought of the outfit. People had mixed reactions, but don't get me wrong, no one liked it. They just had different ways of expressing that. Some people couldn't stop laughing and making fun of the brightly colored attire he had on, while some honestly just got frustrated to see such a disastrous fashion moment. But why were they expecting a fashion look from an NFL player in the first place? Well, they weren't really, but they weren't expecting to see him in whatever he wore either. The NFL player, who recently signed a $370 million contract extension in the offseason, got compared to a ton of people on Twitter. A fan tweeted, "Kyler Murray out here looking like Hillary Clinton," comparing the player to Hillary because of the kind of suit he was wearing. Can you see the resemblance? Some people even compared him to the late Queen Elizabeth. A fan tweeted a picture of Murray and a picture of the Queen in a lime green suit, with the caption, "Kyler Murray, respecter of Her Majesty's fashion." Would the Queen have worn a lime green suit to a sports event? We're not sure if the Queen would have been willing to be laughed at either. Another character that the 25-year-old player was compared to was Kermit the Frog. A Twitter user shared a picture of Kermit in huge black shoes, with the caption, "Kyler Murray-like." An NFL editor at The Score, Brenden Deeg, wrote, "Kyler Murray with one of the worst pre-game fits I've ever seen." We agree, the outfit sucks, but at least we got some good memes out of it. Now, let's look at some of the worst uniforms in NFL history. First up, Chicago Bears alternate orange uniform. The Bears had one of the best uniforms out of all the other teams. The best thing about a uniform is that it's easily and widely recognizable, and that's exactly why the Bears uniform is so good. Their jersey is just perfect in that sense. They always keep up the Chicago tradition of not changing their uniforms too much, which is always appreciated by their fans all over the world, especially the ones from Chicago. But when they come out wearing their alternate orange jerseys, it's anything but a pretty sight. We're not sure what's it about them, but it throws the whole look off. Maybe it's the color. Probably. But what do you think? To be honest, we think the white uniform looks better, and so does the blue one. The orange is just not the vibe, you know? Next up, the San Francisco 49ers 1950s. Okay, we know this is super old, but that doesn't change the fact that it was just a plain bad uniform. In fact, so bad that it made it on the list so many years after it was first seen. Yeah, got an idea yet? You know, we all expect that the San Francisco 49ers team uniforms would have gold at least somewhere. It makes sense given the team that gold would be featured on the uniforms, but it wasn't, which was, to be honest, kind of disappointing for the fans. They didn't enjoy it at all. Other things about the uniform were just fine, but what do you think? Following up, 10 Houston Texans. Okay, Houston, we just want to ask, what went wrong? The uniform was an abomination. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but the uniform was really bad. Red is usually a really smart choice when coming up with uniforms in sports, but this time, the designers of the team managed to use the color, which is generally a good color on uniforms, in such a way that it looked horrible. Now, that's something impressive, no? The red pants combined with the red jerseys just make us want to cry, to be honest. Who thought it was a good idea? We just want to talk, it's just too much of the same color, especially since the said color isn't even used correctly in an appealing way. Up next, we have Tennessee Titans 2012 uniforms. We think everyone will agree with us when we say the Tennessee Titans needed a new uniform back in 2012. It had been long due, and it was time we saw them rocking new designs on the playing field. Not only that, but we think their logo needed to be changed too. It got old, and to be honest, it wasn't the best design either. Changes can be risky, but when done right, they can definitely be rewarding too. And with their current uniform, we think that change definitely paid off. The uniform they had until 2012 had multiple shades of blue all put together. Did they go well together in the uniform? Well, that's a debatable question. What's not debatable is the fact that the baby blue looked awful in the uniform. We think everyone will agree with us when we say that it's just not the right color for the uniform. That's it. Not to mention the 1966 Denver Broncos uniform. God, was that an attempt at making burnt orange work? Well, if it was, the attempt was a hard fail. When has burnt orange ever worked in uniforms? Unless it's a uniform in tribute to Halloween, we don't think it's a good choice. Honestly, one of the worst color palettes we've seen so far on NFL uniforms. Won't you agree? But we're not going to give it that hard of a critique. It was back in 1996 after all. Still, doesn't change the fact that it was so bad that it's still remembered today for it. To put it all simply, the colors are just bad. They don't go together and they're not one bit appealing. Oh, and the logo on the helmet is a whole other story too. It needs a good amount of work, to say the least. Overall, everything is just plain awful if you ask us. What do you think? Finally, we have the 2003 Jacksonville Jaguars all-black uniform. Who doesn't love an all-black outfit? Black is just one of those colors that you could never go wrong with, right? Well, the Jaguars found a way to mess it up. How even? We're just as confused as you are right now. How does one manage to screw up an all-black uniform? Well, for starters, the turquoise stripe going down the leg just looks so weird. And not to mention the gold mixed in together with it. God, this is why color theory is important. They thought it would be a great design, but it was such a hard fail that fans absolutely hated it. And to be honest, can we really blame them? Their criticism was pretty valid, and we totally agree with them. It was clear that the Jaguars needed to hit the drawing board again because this simply wasn't working for anyone. That's all we have time for in today's video. What do you think about Kyler Murray's lime green suit? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button. With that, we'll see you in our next video.